We have a massive Blue Jays trade update to go over today as a brand new report from notable insider Ken Rosenthal has revealed a shocking Bo Bichette trade update. We're going to break down exactly what that update is and discuss what it means for his future in Toronto as he is entering the final year of his contract. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 15,000 subscribers. We're getting very close. Our goal is to hit 15K before Christmas. You guys have been crushing it with the support. So if you want to help us towards that goal, make sure to smash that subscribe button. About 71% of you who are watching this video right now aren't subscribed. So scroll down, check, and if you aren't, make sure to hit that button. And Peter is going to be joining with us in this video through a couple clips here, so you'll see that shortly. But ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of reports going around. We've seen reports about the Jays pursuing Alex Bregman, about them also pursuing, like we mentioned in our video earlier today, a massive Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract extension, which is all positive things. We want the Jays to be pursuing these high-end options, these guys like Juan Soto. We saw them acquire Andres Jimenez in a trade. There's a lot of different things that are going on right now surrounding the Jays, but the biggest thing and the biggest question mark, aside from Vladdy's trade or Vladdy's contract extension, is Bo Bichette and his future with the Toronto Blue Jays. And a new report from Ken Rosenthal is dropped, and it is making its rounds on Twitter surrounding the Bo's future and with the Jays. Report: rival executives say the Jays are open to trading Bo Bichette. Now, I'm going to dive into the exact article and discuss what this can mean going forward for the team. But in a nutshell, the Jays aren't necessarily actively shopping Bo Bichette, but they are certainly in the market and are open to trading him if the deal is right. So you can see this here. The Toronto Blue Jays are willing to trade shortstop Bo Bichette if the price is right. Executives from 3 rival teams told The Athletic's Ken Rosenthal that the Blue Jays aren't shopping the 26-year-old infielder, but are open to dealing him for a high price. Toronto recently traded for Andres Jimenez, a second baseman who also has experience at shortstop. He signed through 2029. And Peter has his thoughts on this, which we'll get into in a second here. But before we get into the full report and discuss some other things, we know how good Bo Bichette has been. But like the article mentions here, them getting Andres Jimenez at this point kind of plays a huge factor into the Bo Bichette thing. Because if they decide to trade him at the deadline or even trade him this offseason, if they get an absolute haul back, then you have a guy who can immediately shift in at a Gold Glove level to the shortstop position and Andres Jimenez. And you also have guys like Will Wagner who can play second base. So it becomes then a very interesting question as to maybe the Andres Jimenez trade was actually setting something bigger up in lieu of Bo Bichette getting shopped this offseason. And Peter has some thoughts on this report. We're going to dive into the exact Ken Rosenthal report in a minute here as well. But I'm going to get Peter's thoughts in right now as well.
The case for Bo Bichette being traded is a very curious one, and I've been looking at it this way. Since the Andres Jimenez trade that the Blue Jays made, that to me seemed like they found their shortstop of the future, and the writing has been on the wall for Bo Bichette here. Ever since last season when he did that interview with the San Francisco Giants media, and he signified that he'd be open to playing there or just playing anywhere else in general, that to me showed that maybe he's not as committed to Toronto. And then he walked it back by saying he wants to build something special there. He wants to be there long-term with Vladdy. But for me personally, the Blue Jays' priority needs to be re-signing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That has to be number one. Because if you lose him, not only are you going to lose a lot more baseball games, but you're going to lose fan interest. You're going to lose marketability on your team. So Vladdy has to be the number one priority for me. And then Bo Bichette, I think, is secondary. And they've shown they've had opportunities, that duo, to win playoff games, and they haven't been able to get over the hump. So when you take a look at it in a nutshell, Jimenez overall as a player has been much more valuable than Bo Bichette over his Major League Baseball tenure. He's signed until 2029. This is not some stopgap option that they're bringing in to play second base. This is a long-term guy that's going to be here for at least half a decade, and he's probably going to be your shortstop. He should be your shortstop because he is far superior defensively than Bo.
Yeah, and the point about Andres Jimenez, which we can dive into as well, is like, if they get a good piece back for Bo Bichette or multiple good pieces, then you have a guy, like I mentioned, ready to step in. And this is the actual report. So as we covered earlier today, the Jays are in talks with Vladdy about a long-term extension to buy him out of his final year of arbitration and free agency. They are fielding interest in Bichette, who is also entering his walk year, and they are at least on the the outside looking in for the Bregman sweepstakes on the periphery of those. But the perception within the industry, they want to do something big. They're going to do something big, but it's interesting because Bichette, who turns 27 on March 5th, is another matter. He's coming off his worst offensive season. We know this. He's put up a horrible OPS plus. The Jays do not appear to be nearly as interested in signing him as they do Guerrero, and circumstances have changed since Atkins told John Morosi in November that his answer to trade inquiries on Bichette was an easy no, which is another very interesting report because, of course, they traded, for a signed Andres Jimenez, a Platinum Glove winner at second base who could be a replacement for Bo. Return to shortstop seem more likely to occur in 2026 and 2025. Bichette's final year of club control, but a trade of Bichette this offseason, even though the Jays would be selling low, would make sense. If the Jays lose him as a free agent and exceed the tax threshold, they are within $13 million according to Fangraphs. All they would receive as a compensation is a pick after the fourth round. And I think if they really think and believe they're not going to extend Bo, but they also don't think they're going to put up a good enough team this upcoming season to make a deep run in the playoffs, then trading Bo would be a very intriguing option. I think the biggest part about this is this is Atkins and Shapiro's last year of their contract as well, so they need to make the playoffs. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, they're going to get fired, and they're going to, in all likelihood, I hope at least, that Ed Rodgers would fire them if they don't make the playoffs. So if they don't make the playoffs, then what is their next course of action? Trading Bo Bichette right now would lower their chances, no matter what you get back, unless you really, win the trade, would be a worse team. The Blue Jays would be a worse team by trading Bo Bichette. So I don't know, and I think that would be the
Bo
hesitancy
Bichette being traded is
Peter Tune's back in there for a second. I think that would be the hesitancy, of Ross Atkins. Why would you go out and trade Bo Bichette in the offseason when this is the last year of your contract and you're trying to make the playoffs, you're trying to make a push? That being said, the Andres Jimenez thing is super interesting, and they do not appear to be shopping Bichette, but executives from 3 rival clubs, granted anonymity for their candor, said the Jays are open to moving him, but only for a high price. And the problem is he's entering the final year of his season, coming off the worst year of his career. Final year of his contract, worst year of his career. And at the moment, again, they have people who can fit into his place. So Ernie Clement, if they traded Bichette, they could maybe sign Bregman. Maybe they're working on a bigger thing where they're trading Bichette. They're going to sign Bregman, and then you move one of your guys to second base. All these different things and possibilities. You, of course, have Santander and Teoscar Hernandez, so I think they're going to get one of them. But it opens up another can of worms by trading Bo Bichette and filling holes that you need filled unless you're trading Bo Bichette for a win-now player or win-now players. And Peter has some other thoughts, which will let him tune in.
I think Bo's a very good hitter, but he's not a great all-around player. He should not be a shortstop, and I'm sure he wants to be a shortstop. He wants to get paid like a shortstop, but now with Andres Jimenez in the fold, I think that is their best option to go with, at least at that position. So I don't know how Bo personally feels about that. I don't know if he's going to want to stick around, if the Blue Jays are going to make him a second baseman. And even if they do hold on to him for this season and they don't trade him in the offseason, I think Jimenez should still be the starting shortstop.
Yeah, and it's very intriguing to me. And obviously, Peter's super high on Andres Jimenez. We're both pretty high on Andres Jimenez if it means more moves are coming. But the biggest thing with this specific deal would be, hey, are the Jays able to go out and replace Bo Bichette? If they trade Bo Bichette, would Andres Jimenez plus what you get back from Bo Bichette be enough? And that is going to be the biggest question going forward. And again, he's coming off of the worst year of his career, 599 OPS, and 814 OPS last season the season before last season, I guess, in 2023, and he led the AL in hits a couple of years and has led the Jays in F4 since 2019. So let us know down below what your thoughts are on all this. A lot of things are going on right now surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays. And like we've been saying, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. We're keeping you up to date with all the news. So thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we will see you guys later.